Or Negaim Perek Yud Gimel Mishnah Tet, 9th Mishnah in the 13th chapter of Masechet Negaim. Says the Mishnah, we're talking about a Bayit Amenuga. Bayit Amenuga is a Tzarat house, that's Tamei. Anybody walks in, immediately becomes Tamei, as we've said. Rosho v'rubo, you put your head in, your majority of your body in, and you're Tamei. Says the Mishnah, what about your clothes? What about if you're holding things? Says the Mishnah, Misha nichnas labayit amenuga. If a person enters into this afflicted house, v'kelav al ktefo, v'sandalav v'ta'abotav biyadav, and his kelim, his clothes are on his shoulder. He's not wearing them; he's carrying them. And his shoes and his rings, tabat, biyadav, he's holding them. Hu v'hen tamein miyad. They're tamei right away. Why? Because the pasuk says, "Karina nami bekelim v'haba el habayit itma." That's considered haba el habayit. What that which enters into the house, it becomes tamei right away. Tamein miyad. But it says the Mishnah, Haya lavush bekelav b'sandalav. Haya lavush bekelav. He was wearing his clothing. B'sandalav biraglav, and his shoes are on his feet. B'ta'abota biyadav, and his rings are on his hands. By the way, which clearly shows that men wore rings all the time there. That was fine. Hu tamei miyad. So he is tamei right away, as we've said, because habai labayit. But v'hen torin, the clothing remains tahor ad shisheh kedei achilat pras. You might have heard this term, kedei achilat pras. Kedei achilat pras is the time it takes to eat a loaf the size of a pras. What does that mean? The loaf the size of the pras. So first, let's look at the Bartenura to answer that question. Kamashir achila. How much time you have to be in there? The amount it would take kedei achilat pras. Shuhu, how that is chatzi kikar shel eruv. It's half the size of a loaf of an eruv. Meaning the eruv, when you set aside food that serves as an eruv means it's joint food that's collectively owned, and therefore, since it's collectively owned, all of the people in the enclosure that share the same enclosure, even though they're separate homes, that's eruv me'arev. It's shared. People think the eruv is the wires. As we learned in Masechet Eruvin, it's not the wires. The eruv is the food. So, how much is it? L'divrei Rashi, heim arba beitzim, meaning the eruv has to be 8 beitzim. L'divrei Rambam, shalosh beitzim, 6 beitzim, so we do half, so it's 3 beitzim. That's pras. Pras is a half a kikar. And so you say you have to eat, how long would it take you? Kedei achila pras. How long would it take you to eat a loaf of 3 kibeitzim? So, people have calculated such things. And moreover, the Mishnah says, pat chitim below pat zorin, talking about wheat bread and not barley bread, because they eat it more quickly, because it's tastier. Meisev, that's from leaning, meaning you're eating it. You're leaning like in a meal of ochlan beliftan. You're eating it with the liftan. Liftan is the dip. So how long would it take you? You would think it would take you a little longer to eat with it, but the Bartenura says no. Shiuron mu'at. If you eat bread plain, it'll take you a little while to get through the bread. But when you put the shmir, when you put the tuna, or you put the dip, you eat it with the dip, you want to eat it faster. Because of the taste of the dip, liftan is whatever you added onto the bread. So the Mishnah is saying it's less time than you think. It's kedai be'achilat pras of wheat bread, good bread, that you're leaning and you're eating it at a nice clip. You're eating with it liftan. And if you remain in the house that long, then your clothing become tamei as well. Why is worn clothing different than carried clothing? So the Bartenura explains that it's based on a limud of a pasuk. Okay? Because it says, Va'ochel babayit yichabes et begadav. The Torah says, if you eat in the house, the afflicted house, you have to, yichabes means, it means literally wash, but it means to take to the mikvah. V'ashochei babayit, if you lie in the house, yichabes et begadav. You have to also wash your clothes. V'tanya, and the Braita learns, Einli ela ochel, v'shochei. I only know if you eat or lie. Lo ochel v'lo shochei minayin. What if I don't lie down and I don't eat? Talmud lomar yichabes begadav riba. It says you should wash your clothes. So, how much? Why does it say ochel v'shochev? Why does it say eat or lie down? Litein shi'ur. It's used as the example of eating and lying down to give you the amount of time. Labar labait. She'en ta'on kibutz begadim. A person who comes into the house, he's not required to wash his clothes. Ad shisheh kidei shi'ur achila kishehu shochev. Has to be eating while he's lying, which we said was leaning. That's how they ate. Meisev ochel shu shochev. That's why the Mishnah said you have to lean and eat this food. And if you're in the house long enough, then the clothes that you're wearing on your body and the rings that you have on your hands, then they are Tamei as well. All right, we'll stop here and dedicate our learning to the memory of my father, Rav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Comments, questions? Send me an email. Make it a great day.